Good morning, dear participants. We're really excited to have you back on the 6 days AICT-sponsored STTP on blockchain applications, organized by Saintgits College of Engineering. Welcome to day 4. Hope that you're enjoying being part of this STTP. As already informed, this STTP features an array of eminent speakers from across the globe. And today, we were expecting Mr. Thomas Cox, Chief Governance Officer of Strong Block, but we couldn't get him online yet. There are some technical glitches from the side of the speaker, and we have a slight change in the schedule. Blockchain in agriculture, isn't that exciting? Yes. We have Dr. Jubilan Kiriketotam, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Saintgits College of Engineering, the coordinator of this STTP and lead blockchain team of Saintgits College of Engineering. He has been a blockchain evangelist. Without further delay, let me welcome Dr. Jubilant to handle the session. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. So, we are discussing today about the blockchain in agriculture, where the active involvement has to be done, and where lot of positive things can happen in blockchain in agriculture. As we know, blockchain is always a technology that is basically connecting with trust. That is the trust of trust of belief, trust of commerce, etc. So we are maximum means in this case about $100 trillion are happening, or means transactions are happening yearly in the case of blockchain. And just because of the notion of trust, we can have a lot of improvements in the transaction reliability as well as in commercial areas. And basically, lot of important programs are happening over there. That is means when companies go for building trust, they are going for advertisements to which comes to the billions. And again, they are having various social enrichment programs. Again, they are spending lots of money, and all these things they are thinking about having something which is improving that, keeping some trust in mind of people, so that they people are believing that this company or this corporation will be providing some positive involvement in their life. And each of the components in our life are having some accounts or ledger. For example, in the case of ledger, when we think, automatically what we believe is that each means it is something recorded with financial accounting. But it's not like that. Even if we are building a small house, or as I showed a means house here in this presentation, it's also having a ledger, as this indicates. In 1976, its ledger shows that in 1976, the building was sold to the first owner as the first transaction Automatically, who has to sell it? The builder has to sell it. Yes. So there involves a builder, and means he is going to sell that to the specific owner, first owner. And again, in 1980, some improvements happened, and some extension were approved by that improvements were approved by the governing council of that specific constituency or that municipality. Again, the government is involving in the thing. And second is, and the next step in 1989, it was sold to the next owner. And in 1992, it failed an inspection where again another body is involving, where it's directly connecting with the quality management or something like that. And like that, it involves a lot of ledgers in between, where it is that makes each and every component functional in the system. And when we discuss about a ledger, we always tell that if it is something regarding the money coming in and money going out. And just we understood, it's not up to the money matters, but it is about accounting anything in a systematic manner. And for this, if we are going for the ledger, and I told you there was a failure in inspection in the case of fifth column, fifth transaction. And if a ledger can be manipulated with the help of a a normal ledger can be manipulated, and it is you are connecting that a new chimney is added in 1992. Automatically, it is going to affect some negative involvement in the case of ledger. And that is why we are telling that these ledgers are tamperable, or changes can be made and manipulations can be done. And again, here we told the trust has a huge gap over here, where we are transferring, we are having a very, very low trust in this case. And now we are discussing about the technology of blockchain, which is moving from basic trust to zero trust to abundant trust. And we are just having a small look on how it is happening. And here, again, I'm telling just because with the help of the same example we discussed before, where a blockchain ledger has some more factors included in it. And it is one of the operational person as well as a key. That is, more number of bodies or entities are coming in, and the data transaction happening will be encrypted with the help of a specific key. And here the entity included is the builder. And here, if we are having a builder and we are having a set of transaction over here, and finally we are having a specific key involving in it. So what we are thinking, what we are connecting about, we are just encrypting all transactions happening with the help of a key, and then this will be discussed as the genesis key. And after the first transaction, it will be transformed to the provided to the owner, where owner is making some improvements. And again, here this transaction is again encrypted along with the key which is involved in the previous transaction. That is, the previous transaction's key is also connected with the next level transaction. And this, in the case of this third transaction, what happens is that the key of the second level is again connected, encrypted along with the third transaction. So here you can understand that three different entities are there. That is the builder, first owner, and the architect. When we come to the blockchain directly, we can make this system in the case of in the case of an image or a diagram. We can identify that this in the genesis block we don't have any previous hash, but the hash of the first transaction will be, means hash of the first transaction will be encrypted. That key value is encrypted with the second transaction. And this process is continuing in each transaction. And if we name this as each blocks, each transactions as a blocks, then we are connecting each transaction with the help of a chain. And that is how we tell about the system as a blockchain. And in this mechanism, all these transactions are connected or bonded or linked each other with the help of the previous hash key, which is linked to the next transaction. Where if there is any chance of tampering, automatically this blockchain will indicate that this chain has broken and there is a change in the value. Just because the previous values hash key will be going to change when any editing is happening in the procedure or transaction. And that is how we tell that this process is immutable. And think about the routine college day. I mean, think about a specific novel or something like that, or yeah, or you can think about your interested feeling, where we can tell Titanic. The film Titanic has been moved all around the world, and almost all of us have seen that film multiple times. But when we see that film, in between, if we were unable to view some specific portions, like Jackie's that specific scene where Jack meets Kate for the first time. Okay, and again, that's very interesting scene which is shot inside the ship. And when we are not having that specific scene in our mind, because we have not seen, unfortunately, because of the power failure or the corruption issues or something like that. And when we are when I am discussing with my friend regarding the same, regarding that film, you can just imagine how the changes happen. He is telling something very interesting, and I fail to understand, or I fail to identify that specific scene. And I'm telling, no such incidents has happened. And then the second thing happens is that myself, and my friend will be going and checking with the third person where what is correct or not. So when many people tells that that specific scene was very interesting, and myself, Jubilant, has not seen that, I have to correct myself. And that is one of the concepts behind the distributed ledger, where in the case of distributed ledger, as I indicated before, there are many entities, including the real estate dealer, the architect, the owners who involved, the builder, the insurance people, the contractor, and the government is involved in the scene. And just because of that reason, if you are waiting for, or if you are making, if not me, any person in between is making some changes, like as I told, that is the fire happened in the system, in the house, was replaced with the help of a new chimney. What happens is that automatically some area it will crash, or some people will be telling that this will be a wrong decision. And that is how this we are telling that this immutability is maintained in the blockchain system. And again, as we indicated, one above the another, the blocks are created, and each new transaction will be written above. And again, this will be distributed, which managing as a distributed system. And as this diagram indicates, we are having a means chain of blocks, where each transaction is stored in the block. And here, look, you can see that Alice pays Bob 3 bitcoins, Chris pays Doris 2 Bitcoin, Bitcoins, etc. are in the transaction. And here again, I'm trying to reward myself 25 Bitcoins, where this transaction will not be approved by the other entities who are in between. That is, if I'm doing a transaction on myself, which which is not approved by the other entities involved, automatically that makes issues over here. And this is basically making the blockchain more trusted and recorded easily and systematically. And is when we connect with the previous system, where it is basically tamperable and focusing on a centralized mechanism. All these issues were all these problems were can be overcome with the help of the immutability which we just discussed, and the distributed quality of our blockchain system. And here, because of this quality of improving the because of this quality of immutability and sustainability, we are making or improving the zero trust to the abundant trust. That is, we are trying to improve that trust to the next level. And even if we can overcome a mediator in between, that will be one of the best things you can connect. And again, we all know about the Encyclopedia Britannica, where it is a very decentralized, when we discuss about decentralization, that is Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica is presently normal just because it was a bank of knowledge where any components were available at a time. And in our school days, in my school days, it was available in my school library, and in my one of my father's friend who was very fond of enriching himself in knowledge. And I first saw Britannica Encyclopedia there. And what happened is that what system it was functioning was that, as you know, there was about 2,600 employees consistently and continuously updating this system or this knowledge bank. And this books, a set of books were updated in a span of few years, and they were publishing that books, and people who are really having good amount of money with them will be purchasing that books. And in course of time, the sustainable means the system was replaced by Wikipedia. We all know presently about 2,70,000 people are working voluntarily with Wikipedia as editors, where the areas of their interests are changed, and they are doing at their own places. And if you want to check the result of yesterday's IPL match about with the where CSK played, then you will be means it will be surely available in today's wiki page, just because some of the people who are really interested in that specific area will be dynamically contributing to this specific system. And now again, uh, so such centralized mechanisms of Encyclopedia Britannica was replaced by Wikipedia, where decentralized systems which are updated time by time and very easily. And here again, I would like to just compare that system where took years to update in the case of Encyclopedia Britannica, where Wikipedia is updating things in a very within an hours. When 2,600 people were involving in updating the system, only about 2,70,000 people are presently involving with Wikipedia as volunteers. And again, it took each update took years to get corrected, in the case of Encyclopedia Britannica, but very soon, in a small span of time, we can get updated in the case of Wikipedia. And that made the encyclopedia out. And where the key points we discussed about is that decentralization or immutability and the transparency, which are the points the blockchain is basically looking for. And when we are going to the history of blockchain in 2009, where the means financial crisis involved, few people or the consortium got together, and that emerged the evolvement of that came, and that's how the Bitcoin emerged, which underlying its technology of blockchain was the next level revolution. And this Bitcoin was involved, means evolved with the idea of Satoshi Nakamoto. Even people say that it's a consortium where few companies, Japanese companies are involved. Yeah, involved there. Satoshi stands for Samsung and Toshiba, and Nakamoto stands for Nakamichi and Motorola. For companies are involved in funding these things. We are not sure, but still the major share or big amount of Bitcoin's value is still involved with this Satoshi Nakamoto. And again, we expect in few years of time might be this will be again back into the market. And it happened in 2009, the Bitcoin evolved. And in the next stage, we went for the programmable blockchain. And in the third stage, we are involving with the scalable DAX, where regulations can be used in the blockchain to understand the activity of market while maintaining the privacy of the individual actor's position. That is, private blockchains and all other systems, including the programming, can happen. And the second stage we discussed is something regarding the smart contracts. And this is a blockchain history where in 2008 means went for Satoshi's back paper. And in 2013, the Vitalik Buterin introduced the Ethereum. And now again, still 2020, loads of evolutions are happening here in the case of blockchain. And we are discussing, we have already discussed a few types of blockchain networks or platforms, where Hyperledger, Ethereum, Hyperledger is a consortium. Ethereum, Corda, IOTA, Quorum, EOS, etc. are actively involved. And we will be having a session, again, we will be having some sessions on Hyperledger Fabric and EOS in the coming semester. And basically the types of blockchains involve the private, public, and consortium enterprises. And now we are moving to the implementations of blockchain, where basically we are going with the land revenue. Some of them can be discussed at the land revenue records happening in Andhra Pradesh. The stock exchange connected with blockchain happened in Australia. And MediChain or medicine related at blockchain implementations, which we already discussed in the case of our robot. Then many chitties, which are having lot of issues in India, that is crores and crores of money lending activities. Still, we are having some chitty problems or chitty issues seen in our newspapers, where it can be surely avoided with the help of the blockchain implementation. And then electronic grid, where electrical voltage, means power transaction, can be properly managed and systematically monitored. Then in the case of supply chains, which we are going to discuss in the case of agriculture. Then the construction, means when we are thinking out about the improvement in civil engineering. And finally, we are coming to the agricultural field, where we are practically involving or directly connecting with what all things can happen in the case of agriculture. And here, basically, I mean, in the case of blockchain in agriculture, we are trying to present some of the improving agricultural techniques where we are trying to ensure the efficiency, trust, and transparency which can happen to change from or improve from farms to groceries. And in the case of a crop and a food production, means catering the needs of the increasing population by the growing more food with minimum resources, while reducing the environmental footprint and maximizing the customer satisfaction, eligibility, transparency across, means enabling the transparency across the various case of weather. Agricultural sector has lot of challenges to overcome while improving the profitability under unfavorable economical conditions which are presently faced by India as well as all over the world. And from the farmers to the manufacturers of grocers, the blockchain has to be coupled with Internet of Things and is remodeling the food production industry. The blockchain is all set to make farming a sustainable practice by optimizing the farming resources, including the water, labor, fertilizers, and using all simplified approaches. Let us just explore through blockchain combined with IoT how it can felicitate the farmers and can other stakeholders involved in making some optimizing decisions. First one is the food and crop and food production. And here means then second one is the food supply chain. And third one is controlling the weather crisis, managing the agricultural finance, agricultural insurance, land registry, and fishing industry, monitoring and verifying the reporting on green climates, bones, etc., are some of the points we will be discussing here in the case of supply, means agriculture in blockchain. And when we go for the crop and food production, we are trying, I mean, with IoT devices and generation of data. As the population across the globe is expected to touch 9.6 billion in 2050, we have to have the feed the increasing population, and the farming industry is adopting IoT devices for the sensors. In IoT enabled smart farming, uh, in the IoT enabled fast farming, a system is built for keeping an eye on the crops in the field using the sensors regarding the temperature, pH, soil moisture, humidity, light, etc. Has, I mean, sensors has to be incorporated, and IoT sensors and devices generate data that can help the farmers make well-informed decisions and related to the growth of the crops. The information generated from IoT devices first need to be structured and for getting saved to the data storage. Here, for that, the second point comes, that is the cleaning and enrichment of this collected data. Before the saving the collected data on the blockchain, there we need to ensure that it is structured and is made understandable. And for that, the data enrichment is done to add more value to the improved quality of the captured information. The two steps basically has to be involved in this to be to be before storing to the distributed storage platform is, first is the adding the adding the basic meta informations, and make second point is the data ready for compliances. In the case of adding, that means regarding the meta information addition, it is related to the timestamp, demography, and type should be added to the data for making it functional and structured. And in the case of making data ready for compliances, the data has to be saved into the blockchain, which does not mean that it should not be a compliant one. Instead, it makes the compliance informs in the seamless form. And meeting the compliances ensures that the personally identifiable information associated with this data collected from IoT devices provides devices protected from the security measures which was already incorporated. And what is regarding the security measures here to be considered? We will go through that in the next step. That means before that, the making the data more insightful with the machine learning algorithms has to be considered in this case, where machine learning is applied to the data generated from the sensors and provide useful insights in that. And predictive models can drive several high value use cases using the crop quality recommendations, crop identification, crop yield prediction, growth score in the case of automated crop growth factor, then crop demand prediction, etc. These things has to be taken, and then we are going for the step we just trying to discuss, that is get the data saved in the on the blockchain. That is how directly we are going to connect that blockchain data, I mean the available data, to be connected with the blockchain. Or after getting it collected and done, we are trying to save it properly in the blockchain. And here the high value data gathered by applying machine learning algorithms, machine learning process, gets stored in IPFS, that is interplanetary file systems, a distributed storage platform having address hash to the stored in blockchain. In coming classes, we have a session regarding the IPFS. We will be discussing it in detail. Unlike the existing method of the stored essential information in centralized server, which has a risk of single point of failure, the data is distributed over every node in the network, preventing a centralized authority to control the system. And here, the information captured in the blockchain will trigger the smart contract and to process the rules defined within them. The smart contracts facilitates the exchange of data stored on the blockchain within the specific stakeholders in the system. And since the informations will be visible to the every agricultural market participant, it will become a seamless form with bringing efficiency to the crops production. So in a systematic way, we can try to improve the production of the crop. And now we will be discussing about the food supply chain. Food supply chain, we have to track that movement of food supply, and is very critical to explore the source from where the food has originated and grown. And again, it is essential to ensure that the supplied means eatables are safe to eat. And with the emergence of blockchain, it has become possible to bring trust and transparency in the supply chain ecosystem, ensuring the food safety for everyone. Let us give a bit of how food supply blockchain can reduce the food flows. Here, again, we are incorporating the IoT sensors for generating data or farmers storing into the data. As previously discussed in the the use case, smart farming allows the sensors to generate crucial informations related to the crops sown in the fields. And here, if the farmer is not using the technology driven methods, then they can supply store the essential information such as the crop quality, type of seeds, the weather conditions under which the crops get shown under, means each all has to be monitored with the help of mobile applications. And the data captured is either by IoT sensors or manually by the farmers is saved in the distributed platforms, that is again the IPFS with address stored in the blockchain. And after this data generation with IoT sensors, then the distribution of grown up, second phase, we are going for the distribution of grown up crops to the food processing companies. And we have to provide this, once the crops is grown up, then the food processing companies start bidding for the bidding platforms. That is, there will be a platform for bidding has to be created, and the companies can bid for the platform, and the crops can be transferred to the refineries via IoT enabled vehicles, capturing the temperature conditions under which the item is stored and delivered. After the bid is validated through the smart contracts, then the crops undergo the processing, and the company stored captures the every step in the process of the blockchain. The information gathered from the refineries can help the wholesalers or the retailers to confirm if the delivered food is up to the process, means in the proper quality or not. And storing the data on the blockchain can ensure if the compliances can be met at every step in the food supply chain. And if that compliances can be met, we can go to the next step where the supply of processed food to wholesalers or retailers, how it can be done. After the food items is or the crops are processed, the wholesalers or retailers can bid for the products, and they want to go through the bidding platforms. And similar to the transportation of the crops to the refineries, the food items are also distributed to the wholesalers or retailers into with as we did when do the transportation directly, we are going to transfer this specific components to the wholesalers or retailers with the help of the IoT enabled vehicles. And here the blockchain supply chain offers traceability of helping food companies conducting food recalls and investigations quickly and in a seamless manner. And the consumers can means next connect point is that the communicators consumers can backtrack the supply chain. Here, as the blockchain is transparent in the food supply chain ecosystem, it will be easier for the to figure out when and how the food has been contaminated if it happened. And let us think of that, how it means if there is any contamination happening in the case of the means that food, means consumers or each of the entities involved can track how it has happened, and easily it can be caught, and means the issue can be traced, and if there is an means how that who the culprit is can be easily identified. And next one of the important point to be discussed is how we can control the weather crisis. Here at present, farmers are usually have to comfort undisputable weather conditions while growing different types of crops. Therefore, the predicting and monitoring weather conditions are essential to the crops to survive. Many of the crops grown in India cannot tolerate flood due to the excessive spring rain. The oxygen concentration level may reach zero, making it difficult for the plants to perform the life sustainable conditions like conditions like means updating root issues, making respiration improper, all those things. Moreover, the lack of transparency in the current food chain ecosystems can result in unclear and highly surge pricing. Consumers don't have an idea when did the crop suffer loosey weather conditions and what led to the increased cost. Due to the ability of the blockchain to offer traceability and transparency, farmers and other stakeholders holders will be able to clear the understanding of the price differences in the food distribution market. And since the authorized parties can trace the weather conditions from the blockchain ledgers, farmers can quickly get a crop insurance claims through the smart contracts. means let us explore that condition. In the case of agricultural weather sanitations sending the essential information of the blockchain, the smart agricultural enables the farmers to understand the crop's behavior by deploying the sensors in the mapping fields. That is, the sensors has to be planted in the mapping fields, and placing agricultural weather stations within the farms can create agricultural crucial information such as the soil temperature at different heights, the air temperature, the leaf wetness, the rainfall, the wind speed, dew point temperature, relative humidity, then the solar radiations, wind direction, and again about the atmospheric pressure. All the above parameters are measured, recorded, and saved in the blockchain enabling farmers and other authorities, entities are also accessed for transparency. And with this information, the second step starts. The farmers can take essential preventive actions for it. By analyzing the data generated by the weather stations, farmers will be make informed decisions related to the farming. What's happening and how things are happening can be easily identified. For example, if they figure out any of out it may rain heavily in the next 2 days, it will help them to make necessary precautions in that. And here means these precautions will surely take some steps to take them steps to prevent their crops from getting spoiled. And here, the third thing to be considered is a quick application for the crop insurance regarding the weather crisis. Here, in the case of the damage during the weather crisis, the farmers can quickly apply for the crop insurance, claiming the amount through the blockchain. And the transparent and immutable behavior of the blockchain will enable the insurance companies for other authorities to authorities to access the data captured by the smart weather weather stations easily. And this is how they can easily identify with the help of this fetched informations, and will help to for this enable the smart contracts run. After the insurance claims or requests are uploaded, the farmers will automatically get the requested amount in their respective wallets. And therefore, the blockchain-enabled solutions can help the farmers seamlessly avail that money quickly in the case of crop insurance. In other cases, you can imagine how much time-consuming will that process be, where some people has to come visit the farm, then go for a lot of manual writings, and finally then processing system has to be done on the other side. And when they get the money after some 1 or 2 years, they will be totally lost in the scene, because they don't have money to go for the next level of soiling, means planting the next level of crops. And again, next point that can be considered is the managing the agricultural finance. Lack of transparency, credit histories, and difficulties in contract enforcements are some of the typical problems confirming between some formal financial inclusions and the small stakeholders. So the inability to access the financial services can have an adverse impact on the performance of the agricultural value chains, due to which the procedures cannot maximize their yields, but the buyers face struggles ensuring the efficient supply for commodities. The financial services do not only enable the smallholders to invest their agriculture, but also assist them to revive the liquidity constraints. It results in the difficulty of the buyers to pay farmers on delivery, and forcing the poor smallholders to sell the crops at the lowest price. Blockchain brings the fairness in this process, of agricultural finance by a transparency and share control accessibility. How we can make this happen? In this, first step will be the stakeholders will be sharing the information at the every step of the food production. Here, every time the time a transaction will take place, it will be stored in the blockchain, enabling all the involved parties to access every single transaction transparently. And here, the sharing essential informations at the event every step of the food production will bring more fairness in this present system. And next is how auditors can effectively conduct the audits. All these things are able, means all having all the things stored in the systematic way. The information is stored permanently and securely. The blockchain can also serve as a source for verification of transactions. And this here, the blockchain will make the systematic procedure where the auditors can get the correct data, check the get it, and the managing means with a proper systematic process. And then we are thinking of the managing the transaction, managing the tracing distribution. Here we have to think of a very systematic process where means who all are properly provided the money, means for each component system. For example, we are trying to integrate this systematic traceability by linking the system with Aadhaar, etc. And again, means in India. And again, this we are still discussing about linking the Aadhaar with blockchain, where easily this process can happen, and we can make manage a better agricultural finance distribution in all sectors. And here this diagram indicates systems which happen in the blockchain of agriculture, where various stage of data generation happen. That is, as we discussed in the first case, the soil is monitored with the help of, in the first block indicates how soil is monitored with the help of sensors and how it grows, all the things are managed. Second comes to the warehousing, managing, and its distribution with the help of IoT components. Third block indicates the retail marketing, where systematic supply chain is done, and for each entity proper money is available. That is, the farmer will be ensured to get proper money, and intermediary by preventing the intermediaries to take a big huge lump sum in by standing in between. And for that, we have discussed that temperature, pH sensors, and all other components are discussed. And with the help of that, that data is analyzed, and we are monitoring the weather and the wind in the case of first block. And second case, in the case of supply chain and warehouse management, we are checking for the quality control of the data. We are checking for the transportation, and we are again checking for the food safety. And in the third case of grocery shops, we are again linking with the bill data, where the proper bill is only the proper required bill is paid, or means quoted. What is it properly? Is that money, means bills, tax is paid properly, and any compliance regarding that will be properly managed. And all those things will be processed, and intermediate, means there will be passed to a smart contract, where it is monitored and access correctly. And the data is hashed in this step, and the blockchain data conception in between is properly indicated. And these data available will be focusing on the land usage, where we will be checking for the improved soil quantity quality, and we'll be checking for the helping field of the buyers to make informed decisions available. Again, second, here we'll be checking with the help of this data available. We'll be checking for the crop efficiency, where we will be ensuring the food safe and means food is safe and safe for eating and usage. And we also will be checking for the quick and seamless food recalls for the investigation. And with this data, we can go for financial audit, as well as we will be checking for the insurance manage the things. Now we will be discussing about the benefits of implementing agriculture in various fields. That is means we will be checking means here the benefit of means we have to develop the quality control of food safety, means one of the benefits. Second is augmented traceability in the supply chain. Third is the improved efficiency for farmers, and the fourth one is the rational payment of farmers. Now we will be looking about what's it's happening in each phases. In the case of improved quality and controlled food safety, one of the significant applications of blockchain is bringing increased transparency to the supply chain, and it can help to improve the ineffectiveness in the process and ensure optimal quality and quantity controlling conditions. For instance, the crop failure is a pivotal issue faced by the farmers around the globe. It usually happens because of the unfavorable climatic conditions, and such as the poorly distributed rainfall or erratic weather. To solve this issue, companies like IBM have already invested millions of precision agriculture, millions into the precision agriculture, creating IoT devices for allowing the farmers to monitor the factors such as the soil quality, the pest, the irrigation, all those things have been properly managed and monitored. And more importantly, in case of problems such as food safety outbreaks, it also uses, gives the ability to find the source of the issue immediately. This has to be potential to save more than just a time and money, but in the case of supply chain process, it can even save lives. So that is the importance on means the food safety and quality control with the help of blockchain. And now we will be discussing about the augmented traceability in the case of supply chain, where we are witnessing, in the case of supply chain, we are witnessing a dramatic rise in the consumer exceptions for food standards. Most of the notable, more and more consumers want to know whether the food comes, where the food comes from. That is, where and which standard this food has to be, the food consumed by us has be in. And for example, means if it is pumped with some pesticides or something like that, people are really keen in all those things. And just imagine that buying some of the something from the store and bringing if we are able to find the absolutely everything about the product by just scanning with a barcode on your smartphone app, then this makes the traceability. And with the help of this scanning, if we are integrating the process or the products full supply management till that grocery delivery, if we are connecting with the help of a blockchain, it is very easy for any person to identify at which quality this product is delivered to them and to which extent they can use with 100% belief. And again, another important implementation is the improved efficiency of the farmers. Means most of the farmers are a combination of multiple apps presently. Means for getting information about the climate, they are using one app. They are for the soil information, they are using another app or another mechanism. Again, if to get about the seeds and its quality, they will be using another app. Then regarding the water irrigation process from the water department, they will be using some other mechanism. All these things are in different consortium, different entities, and they really struggle. Being a person, a normal farmer, being a very local person, he might be really struggling to connect all these things. And here this problem can be solved easily with the help of integrating all these components in a single chain of blocks, that is blockchain. The blockchain technology would allow the farmers to store all these data in one place so that they can easily access by those who are needed and simplify the entire process for their needs. And again, another most important thing is that the fourth point, that is the rational payment for the farmers. Here, these are the payment of the farmers are currently creating several problems that makes it difficult for the farmers to get paid for their procedure for the plants they procure. First of all, it is often takes a week for the farmers to receive the full payment of their goods. It takes a lot of time. And to make it matter versus, they are using the traditional payment mechanisms and not using any wire transfers. This often take a significant chunk of the earnings from the farmers. That is, the intermediaries in between standing and taking the money which the farmer really works hard in their field. And with no efforts, these money can be taken over by the intermediaries. Here, again, the blockchain-based smart contract can work by triggering the payment automatically as soon as specific previously precised conditions and has to be fulfilled, which is already fulfilled by the buyer to get transacted, and without
Yeah. Good morning, Julian. Can you hear me? So it's having some trouble. It's showing connected, but I don't know. So yeah. Yes, I can. But yeah. Yeah, that's just a minute. Let me switch my mic. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sanya miss, എനിക്ക് ഹെഡ്സെറ്റ് തരാമോ? ഹെഡ്സെറ്റ് ഉണ്ടോ? വേറെ വയേർഡ് ഉണ്ടോ? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Is that better? Or just the same?
It's just the same. Can you wait for just 1 minute so that I can take another microphone here? മിസ് അവിടെ പറഞ്ഞു എനിക്ക് സൗണ്ടില്ല.
Is it audible?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible now.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yes. And the next one is the demeter, which is a central hub to rent the farmers' microfields anywhere in the world. with no middleman, completely or head in the big organization. Next is the Etherix, a blockchain startup for offering the crop insurance to the farmers via decentralized insurance applications. Then the RIPE. RIPE is by designing a transparent digital food supply. A startup harness quality data has to be created for the food mapping and food journey. The TFood is another startup that applies identification tools to livestock, transports, and freight food packages to follow their items through their whole supply chain. Then WorldCover is another startup which provides crop insurance to protect the loss against the yield using satellites to monitor the rainfalls and trigger the payouts automatically. So these are some of the blockchain, some of the startups which are playing a pivotal role in agricultural blockchain. And the blockchain is already reshaping the industry's way by doing the business, by discreating the risk of the fault tolerant activities and boosting the transaction speeds, helping the farmers to control and analyze the crops and much more. Here, we are coming to the last point. Sorry. We're coming to the, means what is the future of the blockchain agriculture, in agriculture industry? The blockchain is still a very recent technology, so that there is a long way to go before its full sets into application and can be developed and put into practice very easily and efficiently. However, it's becoming an increasingly clear that there are opportunities in agriculture industry for agricultural, and the global agriculture industry is now worth over trillions of dollars and has over 1 billion people involved in worldwide. No more, however, the opportunity here is for innovation and much more things to happen in the field of agriculture in coming the future. Thank you all, and open for questions.
Participants, if you have any questions regarding the session, you can unmute and ask the question.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I have a question. We are talking about IoT, blockchain, all the technologies which are helpful for improving the agriculture productivity, everything and all. With respect to Indian scenario, what are the issues maybe faced by the Indian farmers when using all these technologies?
Yeah, please unmute and ask.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Actually, we are talking about all new latest technologies like blockchain, IoT, integration, everything and all in agriculture sector.
Yeah.
But with respect to Indian scenario, what are the issues may be faced by Indian farmers when applying all these technologies and all?
Yes, one of the very relevant questions regarding that, because we are thinking about the practical problem here. That is implementing IoT devices in Indian scenario. The farmers are a bit reluctant to that, but in the presently, as I told, IBM and different startups are actively involving in area, and I think in near future the government will also be providing a better support regarding that. If the government is providing support regarding in this implementation, the startups in these areas as well as the big guns like IBM, Tech Mahindra, who are actively involving in this field, will create a big revolution in this area. Already Tech Mahindra has connected with some provided some blockchain applications for providing sharing of agricultural tools by avoiding the middlemen, which is creating a big change in Maharashtra among the people, where it's a simple application which can be used with mobile, and the agricultural tools can be booked using this application, and it is monitored with the help of the blockchain system. I think in future, in the very near future, so implementation of IoT components also will be creating a better role in the system, I believe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, participants, for your active participation. Please fill the feedback form which is in the chat box. And the next session will start exactly at 11:30. Once again, thank you.
Quantity